Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Ott's here, and I'm a little early because I'm going to try and be done in time to watch the 9:05 game at 11. So start at 9 o'clock, do 2 hours, and get the hell out of here. I'm also made this members only channel for today because I want to get done in less than 2 hours. And sometimes I want to do the premium of having the subscribers to the channel that actually are supporting the channel get the benefit of talking. And today's one of those days. Plus, I'm pissed off. And I really don't want to react to this game for too long. And, I'll say what I have to say about it. In some ways, my energy today may mirror the Raptors' energy from last night, half-assed. And in some ways, I feel like when the Raptors are this disappointing and this kind of shit happens, then I'm allowed to take some of the levels of standards that I do on this channel down a little bit, and I don't give a shit. It's like if they don't give a shit, then I don't give a shit. Is basically what my mode comes. It becomes like that. It's like you don't want to fucking give a shit, then I won't give a shit either, because that's the energy I got from them yesterday, and I'm very disappointed in a couple of things, obviously, from the game happening yesterday, obviously, and I'll get to them. But yeah, I want to do this fast. In some ways, I'll rather focus and go forward. But in some ways, it's like right now, the Raptors have fallen into the play-in as of last night because they lost a game to a non-playoff team. They did not take care of business. They seem like they're in real disarray. They seem like they have no passion. They seem like they have no fight in wanting to win or do anything. That they're just going to roll over. And if they're going to do the tricks of the dog, they're going to play dead. It's like, what is this? What is this? What was all this work this whole season? What was all the stuff y'all did to get your record so high above 500 and get up to the fourth seed, even in the third seed at times this season, just to fall down to the seventh seed now? Like, what is this, Raptors? What are you doing? In some ways, I get mad at Darko, and in some ways I am, but I'm not as mad at Darko as I am at the players. And there's one player in particular I'm really pissed off right now at. The word in my title for the stream today is sabotage. I listened to the song by the Beastie Boys last night. Listen, all of y'all, this is sabotage. Listen, all of y'all, it's a sabotage. Listen, all of y'all, it's a sabotage. Brandon Ingram's here to sabotage the Raptors from beating his old team because he has sentimental feelings like Pascal Siakam does for Toronto. Yeah, I think Stillman said that in the Discord last night. He said, man, I get it. Siakam, in some ways, his brain's not wired to try and beat the Raptors. His wired brain is to try and help the Raptors win. So how do you reprogram your brain after you leave a cherished team that you played for years and you have friends on still? How do you change your brain from being so competitive in all those years and losing and winning with them and feeling all the emotions with that franchise? How do you change your affinity, your connections, your bonds, your mental, emotional, and psychological bonds and ties to another franchise? This phenomenon has been seen with Siakam when he plays for the Pacers since he has gone there. Whenever we play the Pacers, Siakam mysteriously misses free throws. Siakam mysteriously is not good offensively and shoots badly, and the Pacers lose. Brandon Ingram did this last night. Man, Brandon, see, this is the thing, bro. Since you're such a casual guy with your energy and the way you are and just loping around and doing what you do at your speed and stuff, it's not easy. I mean, it's real easy for you to give yourself away as you're not trying. And in some ways, you didn't give a shit about missing shots last night. You didn't give a shit about playing like dog shit because you know what? You saw the joy on people you cared about on the other side, happy and smiling because they're finally winning a game. They've been miserable all year, losing, and that team is you've gone through so much misery as a Pelican that in some ways at this point, playing against them for the first time in New Orleans, a homecoming, well, you're a double agent. You're an inside agent for their team against our team while you're on our team. That's just purely it right there. Sabotage. Sabotage by Brandon Ingram. I'm the primary guy. They make me shoot all the time, guys. Don't worry. I got you guys over there, Pelicans. I'll just fucking play like dog shit and play so horrible that the Raptors have no chance of winning. Because you know what? Listen, we have problems with offense, and I'm a lot of the offense. And if I feel like I don't want to play at my level and try and do things exactly right or pinpoint things, yeah, they'll lose. You want a solid there, Borrega? You want a solid? Huh? How you feeling over there, Herb and Trey? You guys want a solid? You guys want to help? You want a little smiley, happy? And meanwhile, destroy my own team, my team right now's chances in some ways of holding on to their playoff spot and going in the play-in? Like, what the fuck is that, Brandon? You're too happy about them winning after the game. And forgive me for being pissed off at you for being so chummy with Murray after the game when Murray is not actually somebody that you played with for very long. It's not like y'all are super tight like you are with Alvarado and Trey and Herb. Nah, and Zion. Nah, DeJounte showed up late and you only barely played with him. It really was kind of like his energy was I feel like an idiot for acting out like this, and I want in my feelings of insecurity, I'm going to go around insecure wise right after the game and go and talk to everybody around the court to make sure everybody still likes me, even though I showed my ass in a really fucked up way in the middle of the game. So he went over and he started talking to everybody. He wanted to talk to one of our coaches. He wanted to talk to our players. He wanted to come shake everybody's hand after the game last night, Murray, and his bullshit. In fact, he practically attacked Brandon after the game in center court. Came up to him and started hitting him like, I'm hitting you. So like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Murray? You have psychological problems? The Pelicans broadcast could say, oh, he's a competitor. He said, no, that's a psycho. That's a psycho. That's a person who's been deeply hurt in their life, and they're letting out aggressive, violent energy from abuse or something that happened to him when he was younger, or just being abused from being on bad teams, or just being abused because he's a narcissist and he's fucked up his NBA career at every stop he's gone to, and no team has ever wanted him. And now he's on the Pelicans, and he had one night where he could feel all big and bad, so he started flexing over Jamal Shed while he's sitting on the ground, just out of the blue, like in a weirdly weird, like I'm letting this out in a weird cathartic way, but I'm really the damaged, hurt, pained person that has to do this because I have a very insecure person. That's what that read to me. That's what DeJounte Murray looked like to me. It's, oh my gosh, they've been torturing you with losses, and your NBA career sucks because you've been traded so many times and nobody wants you. But boy, I can kick the shit out of the Raptors right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and flex over this guy right here in a totally unclassy way, in one of the worst sportsmanship kind of moves I've ever seen. And then he's gonna run over and talk shit to our bench, come over and talk shit that way. Yeah, we got disrespected badly last night. And the sad thing is nobody seemed to care. That's the thing that pisses me off. Nobody seemed to care. Emmanuel cared a bit, and I appreciate Emmanuel for that. I'll bet if RJ was on the floor and he was actually playing, he would have given a shit. But he can't do anything when he's on the bench. He'd get in big trouble. So he don't come out there. But what does Scotty and Brandon do? Not jack shit. And Scotty, I'm kind of more disappointed in you than anybody because you're the big guy. You're the team leader. You're the guy who's supposed to be in the trenches fighting for your dudes. And well, you didn't stand up for Shed. You didn't stand up for Shed. In some ways, Scotty, I know it's not your personality. In some ways, it tells us just how much maybe you don't care on a certain level. Maybe that's what that tells us. That's why these kind of incidents, when these kind of things happen, they're telling because they show you just how passionate or who really is bought in or who really is riding and dying with us. You know, Scotty doesn't want to catch any kind of technicals or fines or anything. He's not gonna go over there and stand up for Shed. Why y'all not like Shed? Y'all don't want to do that? Everybody runs over and gets their teammates when they fall on the floor and pulls them up. That's where Shed was. Why didn't y'all run over there and push that joker out of the way that was glowering over him with his biceps? Why didn't you run over there, Scott, and say, "Hey, Shed, I got you, bro. I'll lift you up and get the fuck out of the way, you fucking flimsy little piece of shit with your bullshit and your hurt manifesting in very bad sportsmanship." Like, where was that, Scott? You guys are supposed to run over and help your teammate up when they fall on the ground, right? Where the fuck were you then for Shed? That's what I'm wondering right now. Darko after the game saying, I don't really want to talk too much about this. I don't want to put power to it. And he's right. In some ways, he should do that because, listen, we're getting punked. We got punked twice in the last month. And the first time was finger guns by Josh Hart. And that shit was just fucking embarrassing and wrong. And now we got fucking DeJounte Murray glowering over one of our players while he's on the floor, just out of the blue. That man is obviously painfully hurt inside. Seriously. Nobody has a reaction like that unless you can say it's competitive fire. You can say it's all that. No, that's a very hurt individual who's working out his abused self on other people. He's been abused somehow, and he feels entitled to act out like a crazy man like that. That's not competitive fire. There's no place in sports for what Murray did. There's no place for it. You can get fired up and do all this, but you don't have to do it over somebody who's sitting on the floor who doesn't deserve that. In some ways, it's telling of Shed's annoying. That Shed is a defensive guard that really comes up on people and hounds them. And he makes it hard for you to get across the half court line. He's drawing fouls. I don't think Shed's talking a lot of trash. He's not Elijah Martin. But maybe Elijah Martin's been a bad influence because he's getting more of our guys to talk trash in places. And maybe Shed said something to DeJounte Murray. I don't think he did. I don't think Shed said anything. If anything pissed off DeJounte Murray about Shed, it's the fact that he'd probably steal the ball from him or play good defense on him or make his job trying to score way tougher. And then maybe he's like, I finally beat you. I hit a shot. I got a dagger in the fourth quarter. And you got to understand, Murray, and you don't have to, but this is what's happening from our perspective is we're crumbling to a team that's not in the playoffs and we are pissed off. And then you're going to go ahead and act like a poor sport. On top of that, Raptors Nation's hurting right now. We're hurting because you're a fucking bad winner and our team is fucking lackadaisical and rolls over like a dog does on a mat in the house. Hey, do a trick again for us, dog. Roll over. Yeah, okay, roll over, Raptors. Just roll over and die in the middle of the fucking game. Yeah, it's bullshit, man. Once again, the team is flat. As Darko said after the game, we're just in a part of the season where we're not playing well. We are in a very bad basketball stretch for our team. And also at the same time, the other teams are amping it up and they're playing at higher levels. And that's part of the difference in what's been happening in the last month. Darko said that he was happy with the things that we did in the offense. It's just we didn't make open shots. That we got really good shots. We got good shot opportunities, but we didn't make the threes. First question, why the fuck are we shooting so many threes? Is what I'm fucking been asking all season. If it's not a strength, if it's not something we do well, why the fuck are we forcing ourselves to shoot so many threes, Darko? Like, seriously, I know that's a beefy physical team, the Pelicans, but you should be able to go inside and get stuff with Scotty and Jakob and RJ. I don't even know why you kept leaning into Brandon. It's kind of like, didn't you figure this out that Brandon's a double agent through the game? Like, seriously, he's taught us that we can't trust him to play in New Orleans. That's what he taught us last night. And Darko, you need to remember this next year. If Brandon's still on our team at that time when we play in New Orleans, you shouldn't be playing him. You honestly could bench him for the whole Pelicans game next year in New Orleans. And I would be like, yeah, that's smart strategy. He's going to hurt us more than he's going to help us. And that's a sad thing to say about a $30 million player who's supposedly the best offensive weapon on our team. Yeah, don't even fucking play him. He'll sabotage us from within because that's what he did last night. Sabotage. Beastie Boys. MCA. Adam Yauch. Yeah. Mike D. Yeah. Sabotage. Listen, all y'all, that was a sabotage. Brandon Ingram's heart wasn't in beating his old team. There's too many security guards and fans and people he's chummy with, talking with, and going around with. And oh, this is so feels so good. It feels so good to be here and be so chummy and be back home where I was for many years. And I love this city and I love this team and I love my teammates. It's what he called them, his teammates after the game. Well, that gives it away right there, Brandon. In the post-game interview, you're going to go say, yeah, and it's great to see my teammates. They're not your fucking teammates anymore, Brandon. Your teammates are Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett, not Trey Murphy and Herb Jones. But if you're going to have the mentality that your teammates are still wearing the Pelicans jersey, well, fuck. Then we understand more about the psychology of why we lost and why fucking Brandon Ingram could not be trusted when we're playing the New Orleans Pelicans. We're going to play them again in Toronto, Brandon, in like the next 2 weeks. They're going to come up to Toronto. If we lose the Pelicans twice this year, I'm going to blame you straight up. I'm going to straight up say, well, this is Brandon's fault, obviously, because Brandon is not like the classic NBA players that want to defeat their friends and want to beat their old team because they have a chip on their shoulder or there's something. No, he has all love and peace for them. I mean, I get it. Siakam has it for us too. It's not like Siakam wants to come at us in an aggressive, very powerful way and beat our ass like he would want to do against the Celtics or the Knicks. No, Siakam has friendly energy towards the Toronto Raptors franchise still, even as a Pacer. But hardly any of his teammates are on his team anymore. I mean, we do have Scotty still, and they are very close. But otherwise, everybody else on the Raptors team ain't nobody that Siakam knows, hardly at all. Maybe a little bit of RJ and Jakob and Emmanuel, sure. But most of the team he did not play with hardly at all. He played with Grady a little bit too. But Brandon, why can't you even try and hide it? Like, seriously, Ingram, why can't you even just try and hide the fact this was going on? They did a tribute for Brandon in between timeout and a timeout in the first quarter, and he was getting yelled at by Darko while that was happening. Apparently, they asked him about the tribute after the game, and he said, "Yeah, I couldn't really pay attention to it because my coach was yelling at me." And he didn't stand up for it or anything. He just raised his arm like this, sitting on the bench to acknowledge the video tribute. And it was a nice tribute. They went over how he's made buzzer beaters for them and all the dunks and all the fun baskets he made and the memories. It was nice. It's just like the ones we do for our former players too. But yeah, at the end of the game in the post-game news conference, it felt more like Brandon was on the Pelicans. The Pelicans reporters knew him so well, and they're asking him so many questions that I forgot that he was on our team. I felt like he was on New Orleans still, the way he was glowering and talking about, oh, New Orleans this, New Orleans that. These guys are great. My teammates. They're not your teammates, Brandon. I think you were confused tonight that you thought your teammates were Pelicans still. Your teammates are the Raptors, man. So why are you going to sink your own ship just for this? And I mean, that's the thing that pisses me off the most is this is a precarious situation where the Raptors are in the Eastern Conference standings. And Brandon Ingram wants to feel all good about his former team and helping them, giving them solid. Say, yeah, guys, don't worry. I'll lay down. I'll lay down for you guys. And I'll play shitty and I'll just play like ass. And you guys can beat us. Yeah. Yeah, Trey. Yeah. It's like, Brandon, you can't fool us when it seems like, yeah, you're fucking playing like dog shit. Well, are you even trying to get your shot back on track from the last game? I mean, if you're playing so terrible, as you said after the game, you said, I've been playing terrible. And then he smiled like, like, yeah, you are playing terrible. And what the fuck did you just do to the Raptors against the Pelicans? Yeah, you are playing terrible. You played so terrible against the Rockets. I was hoping that you would bounce back against your former team because maybe you had competitive juices and you cared about beating them. But no, you don't. You don't give a shit. In some ways, you show that maybe like what I saw last night is that we should not trust Brandon Ingram to be a guy who's going to carry us to wins at the end of games. It's not like he has a whole bunch of those this year. There's a Charlotte game he hit a buzzer beater at. There's an Indiana game he won for helping us. But for the most part, Brandon Ingram has not carried us in the fourth quarter to victories, especially lately. So it's like, what are we paying him for, Bobby? What's his job? If he's a turncoat in the sense of this, like where he doesn't give a shit about whether we fall out of the playoffs in the play-in, Why the fuck are we even having him on our team? And that, I can build off of what I said already in the last couple of days. Out of the 5 starters, the first guy I would consider moving is Brandon. Yeah, because in some ways you could upgrade that position with who he is, with somebody who's a little bit more serious, somebody who's actually gonna like ride or die with the Raptors and not turncoat just because he's playing his former team. I worried about this because when we played the Lakers this year, Brandon had no extra oomph against the Lakers. And maybe at that point he doesn't have the affinity for the Lakers organization he does for Pelicans, obviously. And in some ways, but he doesn't have that drive to get back at them either for giving up on him and trading him for Anthony Davis so many years ago. That's a problem, man. We can look at the competitive fire of DeJounte Murray's bad sportsmanship and understand, well, where the fuck is that in some of the guys on our team? Where are the guys who are willing to get fired up and act like an asshole like DeJounte Murray in the game last night on the Raptors? And why do we have to go through this whole thing again now where everybody's going to think the Raptors are a soft team, Scotty? And that, Patrick Beverley's comments about us having no dogs, well, that may be apropos once again. And in some ways, we did a good job of being tougher, being more respected. And y'all are letting that shit all out the window, Scott. This is your watch, bro. You're the franchise player, Barnes. And in some ways, any of the Raptors getting punked is you getting punked and the team as a whole getting punked. And in some ways, look, these kind of things are eye-opening to me because when this kind of shit happens, when you have losses like this, when you get punked by a punk ass little bitch like Murray, the way you react and how much you care tells me how much you care about playing for the Raptors or how much you care about winning for the Raptors. If it's like you don't care, it's just like, well, let's walk off the court. We just lost the game. It's no big deal. We'll get to play another one on Friday. Oh, I don't care that my teammate showed up and bullied and fucking glowered over like a child by like in a way that was very disrespectful. I don't care about that. These aren't good signs. This is just showing like stuff about the Raptors where they don't have heart in a certain department. Raptors Reddit. I'll go to it right now. Here's Raptors Redditor of the day. We'll go ahead and do that right now. There's his name is What Should They Heart Do? What should the heart do? And he's got a picture. It's of Oakley, and it says, "Right now, we need you more than ever." Yeah, in some ways, that mentality and that kind of thing should be there. I wish Yak was more of a mean guy, but he's a really nice guy. He's a very strong guy. He could be very much tougher with people, and he does. On the down low, his style is to get his licks in during play, and he can be very physical, and he can get receipts, but he's not the straightforward receipt guy. I think he actually played with DeJounte in San Antonio for a while, so they know each other from being teammates. I don't think that Brandon Ingram is that close with DeJounte. I think that DeJounte was running around trying to talk to him at the end of the game just to try and save face or trying to glower or trying to do shit. That's the thing, Scott. He didn't just come up on Shed and do this posing over him. He ran over to our bench and talked mad shit to the Toronto Raptors bench, the coaches and all the players on the bench. And RJ was sitting over there. If you don't care, Scott, then I don't need to care about my channel as much, do I? If you don't care. I mean, in some ways, it's not even about like getting back at the Pelicans. It's more about like in the next game, y'all can't come out and look like punks, chumps, soft ass people. Because that's what the NBA is looking at right now and saying the NBA fans around the league, not that I give a shit about what they think the Raptors are soft. They think that you guys are have been punked, and you won't do jack shit about it. It's kind of like, I hate to say it, like in prison. If you get punked like this in prison and you don't defend yourself and you don't do something to stand up for yourself, well, that's inviting everybody to disrespect you for the rest of what's going on. And that's probably what's going to keep happening. And maybe the Josh Hart thing was the opening of it. There was nothing to come of that, finger guns towards the bench. And we played them again afterwards. And there was nothing to come back around to Josh Hart. So it's not like anybody's just figuring out that, oh, if you disrespect the Raptors, there's a penalty for it. No, there isn't, because we don't. These guys don't care, and they'll take the disrespect and they'll look soft, and that's a problem because we got to play a lot of NBA games still. And if you don't understand this, Scott, and you're not willing to be the leader in this kind of way, I mean, RJ will. Trust me. RJ's got this in him. He will step into things. And it's a damn shame he wasn't on the court when this shit happened to Shed, because he would have done something. I know he would have, because I know his mentality and I know he stands for his city, the city where he grew up. And but in some ways, I know that, Brandon's not going to do anything because obviously he's in love with his old team still. And in some ways, like I said, he's a double agent, throwing his own game just to help the other team win. I mean, missing free throws and missing threes and missing these shots so much. Brandon, it's like you're handing them the game. It's like, all right, we're in the fourth quarter. We're going to try and come back and get the lead back from them. We're only down by like 5 points. Let's give the ball to Brandon. Okay, Brandon's first possession in the fourth quarter, a turnover, like he has been doing. Well, this is normal. We've seen Brandon lose the ball as soon as we give it to him in the fourth quarter and deflate every momentum we have just by turning the ball over and giving the other team another opportunity of a fast break going the other way. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've seen this. This is normal for like our fourth quarter breakdowns recently. Brandon's going to have his signature turnover in the first couple minutes of the fourth quarter. Okay. Yeah. Let's see what else he can do in the fourth quarter. Oh, he's going to work for a shot. Oh, he's going to actually get a shot off this time. Okay. He's off still. Man, that wasn't even close. It rimmed out. It's over there off the side of the basket. Yeah. He's not hitting now. Okay. Well, let's keep calling his number, Darko. That makes total sense. Darko, why not move it to somebody else? You could have played RJ late in the game. You took him out in the middle of the fourth quarter, and he didn't come back in the game at all after that. Um, why are you going to call three so many times, Darko? If it's obvious he's not hitting his shot, he hasn't been hitting his shot for a week now, and you keep over calling him over and over again. Oh, give it to Brandon. Give it to Brandon. Give it to Brandon. Give it to Brandon. It's not working. Brandon Ingram is ineffective right now. As he self put it in the post game conference, I'm terrible right now. I'm terrible. That's what he said. You are terrible. You're terrible for laying down for your old team and smiling about it and allowing such disrespect towards Shed. Are you mad at Shed because of the jersey thing last year, where you guys had to wear the jersey if the team lost and you had to wear the Houston jersey? Are you mad at Shed for that? Is that why you won't stand up for your new teammate Shed? Are you cool with Shed? Are you guys good? Like, what's going on? Nobody seemed to have Shed's back. Like, seriously, what's going on here? Scotty, do you like Jamal Shed? Like, do you give a shit about him as your teammate? Like, what the fuck is going on here? I have questions. Like, seriously. Like, and Darko, just stop blindly just going with BI. We may be getting into the territory where I see where your coaching problem is. And it's that you're in some ways a little bit similar to Dwayne Casey, because you get stuck on your ideas and your plans for what you want to do, and you're not reacting fast enough in the game to real time things that are happening to make changes. I like the recent time that Jamison Battle's getting out there with the starters. That's smart. You did that again last night, and there was some positive things from it. But there's still, you're not reacting quick enough and making adjustments on the fly, minute by minute, quarter by quarter, timeout by timeout in the games right now. In fact, the biggest glaring one is that you continue to force feed the ball to Brandon, and that's a problem. Honestly, I decided halfway through the game that you should not play him in the fourth quarter because I knew that he was helping the Pelicans to win. And you're the dumbass for playing him the whole game and trying to play him in the fourth quarter to help to beat his old team. He's not going to do that. You didn't read that? Like Pat Delaney, Coco, Mike Batiste, Mary Andrade, Evo, Jama. None of y'all over there could figure out the energy with Brandon today. Yesterday was, I'm going to help my former team win on the slide because I'm not making shots. And in some ways, I don't care if I'm making shots right now. I'm not trying to correct my shot to make it go through the basket because you know what? I'm playing the Pelicans. I love these guys. There's my buddy Mike, who's the security guard. I love that guy. There's the play-by-play announcer for the Pelicans. He's my buddy. We're gonna dap each other before the game. These are all my friends. We can talk trash during the game and laugh because I'm not taking this game very seriously because I don't care. It's a homecoming to me personally. I'm gonna get some nice smiles and laughs and happiness. I don't give a shit if the Raptors lose. I don't give a shit if the Raptors fall from the playoffs in the play-in because I'm having a good time myself, and I don't give a shit. That's how you came off last night, Brandon Ingram. And in some ways, that pisses me the fuck off as a Raptors fan. Sure, your Pelicans fans are probably like, I love Brandon. Oh, he's so awesome. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Brandon, for helping us. We've been having a bad season, and now you helped us. That's another reason why DeJounte Murray don't need to be glowering and hanging over people with his muscles like that. Motherfucker, you're on a bad team, and you have been playing shitty basketball a lot of the season. And you know what? Like I said, your career, you've been passed around because people just don't want you on their team. Yeah, the failure of you in Atlanta with Trey Young, yeah, that didn't take long to see that it was a failure. And you may be a very talented player in some ways, but you're still a knucklehead. You're still a loser, and you're still, you go ahead and have your victory from last night. If this is one of the greatest nights of your NBA career ever, that's pathetic and sad because that's probably what that is probably a top 3 NBA night for you in your whole entire career. Ooh, I love that game where I got to show up Jamal Shed and act really poorly and yell at people and feel powerful. But I'm inside a very small, weak little man that has to act like this to make myself look cooler or better or something like that. That's how you came off, man, Murray. You came off as a damaged, hurt person that was working out therapy session on the court because you're just like, whoa, that's not intensity. That's not competing. That's bad sportsmanship. And in some ways, you should be controlling yourself a little better. Somebody going to do that to you, or you going to jump up and slap somebody in the face. Shed's more mature and grown up. In some ways, he should have probably got up and slapped you in the face. In some ways, I might have respected that, Jamal, if you had. In some ways, I'm not mad at Jamal. I think that in some ways he had a good game last night. He was trying. He was okay, and he had a really bad game the night before in Houston. And he's trying. And in some ways, he's having a hard road trip. This road trip, he really is. And in some ways, I think he was shocked that DeJounte was up on top of him like that. He didn't expect that. He looked up. He's like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" In some ways, the motion that Murray came at him was threatening and was not. There's no place in this league for somebody rushing up on somebody acting like they might hit somebody, because that's what that looked like in the first place. Because Shed looked like, do I need to defend myself? Do I need to put my arms up because this crazy idiot is yelling at me with his arms and coming at me like this? Like, seriously, that looked like a very aggressive, violent move that Murray was going to do. And Shed was like, "Are you coming to hit me in the face?" Kind of shit. Like, seriously, the dude's a psycho. He's got mental problems. He's obviously needs to go sit on a couch and talk to someone because he's got a lot of unresolved shit that manifested in that outburst. You can say that's competitiveness. Oh, he has a fire. No, that's a hurt person letting out hurt in a really fucked up, toxic way. That's what that is. Seriously. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. All right, let me check in. There's going to be hardly any comments because this is a members only stream. And it's really is to get out of here and get done quick. So, all right, let's see. First of all, let's do a preview for today's game at 11. We're going to play a school day game in Westchester against the Knicks this morning. Raptors 905 got a game coming up in an hour and a half. So we got to get done so we can get there. Oh, wow. This is really cool, guys. Holy shit. This is very cool. So this is actually a real treat. Guys, today for our crew chief for the Raptors 905 game in Westchester, we got Bill Kennedy as the crew chief. Bill hurt himself earlier this season in an NBA game, and he's been out for injury. This is a rehab game. So Bill Kennedy, the great Bill Kennedy, the karaoke master, number 55 in his 28th season out of Phoenix, Arizona, who loves Luther Vandross, filet mignon, and a good bottle of red. He wants to see the Egyptian pyramids, and he's the karaoke king. Bill Kennedy's going to be the crew chief for the Raptors 905 game today. That's different. I mean, that's what they do with the refs sometimes. They will send the refs down to 905 for rehab if they're coming back from injury, and that's what's happening. Bill Kennedy, it's really great to see that he's on the list. because I've been sad for Bill Kennedy being hurt on the DL as a referee. So that's interesting, man. Bill Kennedy's going to be the crew chief in New York today. Castine Evans, number 11, is the referee, and Jacob Budnick, number 32, is the umpire. That's pretty cool, Bill Kennedy. So the Westchester Knicks, what are they all about? Well, we saw them in the playoff tip-off tournament in the first half of the G League season, and we're undefeated against them. We beat them every time we played them so far this year. And well, we're going to see Adama Ball, Ibrahima Diallo, Dylan Jones, Trey Jemison, Nick Jordan, Kevin McCullar is the two-way, Toby Okani, Manny Obeseki, Dink Pat, another two-way, Isaiah Robbie, Bryson Warren, TJ Warren, and Paul Zelinskis. Yeah, that's their roster right now. I don't see Donovan Williams on there at this point. I guess he's not playing for them at this point right now. Who knows where he went off to? But yeah, we'll have to see. Raptors 905 can get another win and start another win streak right now after winning a few before. Yeah, we got to see Andrew Jones and the 905 players get out there and get it done. And I'm not even sure where Mobo and Martin are. They obviously were in New Orleans last night because we did see Elijah Martin get in the game against the Pelicans in garbage time. And I thought I saw Mobo on the bench, but maybe not. I don't know. Either way, 905's playing in just over an hour from now. And I'll invite you to join me on the YouTube chat during the game today. And we'll have fun. We'll have a palate cleanser for the really shitty fucking Pelicans game last night. That game really pissed me off. It pissed me off for multiple reasons, and I've talked about them already. And in some ways, I'm just disappointed in the Raptors because it's like, look, the NBA wants us to go where we're going right now. They want us to go there, and I wanted y'all to be defiant. I wanted you to say, no, fuck this shit. We don't want to go there. We don't want to go in the play-in. We got to keep winning. Well, y'all failed. You lost the Pelicans last night, and y'all are in the play-in now. Yeah. As of today, in the standings, these guys are they're seventh. They fell all the way to 7. We were in 5th, and Miami and Orlando jumped into both the playoff spots, and now we're in the play-in right now. Do you care about that, Scotty? Do you care about that, Brandon? You don't care about that more than a homecoming and good feelings with the Pelicans, obviously. In some ways, the old mentality was Charles Barkley and guys in that age would be like, I want to get back in my old team. Barkley goes to Phoenix, and every time he wanted to play the Philadelphia 76ers, he wanted to kick their ass. That's the old energy of compete and NBA players not being so chummy. The 2000s ruined the NBA for friendship. Like the league is just everybody's friends, and they stopped being, opponents and adversaries. Everybody's friends. Back in the 80s, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson would laugh at how chummy everybody is around the league as far as being friends. It's the NBA fraternity, Vince Carter said. We're all buddies. We're all in the NBA, so we're all friends. Fuck that shit. Brandon Ingram, you play your former team, you should be saying, yeah, I want to kick your ass. I want to bring it to you guys and beat you. No, his energy is like, it's good to see you guys. I know you're having a tough year. I'll roll over and let you win. That's his energy. I'm telling you, that's not the kind of energy I want in a primary offensive scorer for my team. I want a cutthroat killer. I want a Michael Jordan. I want a Kobe Bryant. I want a guy who's going to get out there and be like, I want to beat everybody. Nobody's my friend. Nobody's my friend. This is why I respect Giannis. Because Giannis, for years, people were like, why isn't Giannis more everybody's friend? Giannis is like, I don't need to be friends with all y'all. Fuck y'all. I play y'all. I'm a Milwaukee Buck. I'm going to play you guys, and I want to beat your ass. I'm not trying to be chummy with everybody else in the off time because you're not my friends. You are my opponents. I've always respected that about the Greek Freak, that he has that old school mentality about competition in the NBA that so many of these millionaires and happy, lazy competitors in the NBA, some of them just come to get the check and be the lifestyle. And they don't really actually give a shit about competing in a place where they actually like have emotions that care or oh, I'm so pissed off. I mean, I'm worried about this with Scotty because in some ways the signs last night is that you don't care enough to stand up for your friend or your teammate Shed, you know. Brandon, obviously, he's living a happy life. He's got Glorilla. His dad's sitting at courtside. He's got all these people in New Orleans that love him, wearing his jersey, putting signs up. I don't care if the Raptors lost. I had a love fest. They were so happy to see me. It'd been so long, and they were so joyous. What the fuck is that, Brandon? Seriously. You gonna go ahead and just roll over for your former team because you love them? Oh my gosh. Trevor J, words of wisdom. Commissioner Fun. One day, all we'll have are memories of now. We lived not what we owned. So dance in the quiet moments, hug the people you love, speak your truth, and be kind to those that are pieces. And be kind. Those are the pieces that turn a life into a legacy. Okay. You're saying like live life, dance, have friends, laugh, cherish the moments, cherish the good times, you know? Okay. I like this. I like this. One part of this is like that I'm a little scared of is just saying one day all we'll have are memories. I hope that that's not totally true. I'm going to pivot into nostalgia heavy in the age of AI. I'm going to reject all new media going forward. I really hate CGI already. I hated CGI in the movies and the effect that CGI had on special effects and making movies look so fake and cartoonish. I'm a huge, huge not fan of Michael Bay's Transformers and all those kind of movies. What's going to happen with media coming up is going to be a total artificial like shit show of all kinds of lies and perpetuate shit. You can see the early AI creations and they're just monstrosities that aren't appealing. They're gross and they're stupid. In some ways, there's a limitlessness to AI, but also at the same time, I like the limited of the old media ways of, way they did TV in the 80s or the 70s or something like that. Thank God for YouTube because going forward, the memories of the old and stuff may be stored on YouTube. You may be wanting to watch old media on YouTube because the new media sucks so bad, has no soul to it, and is just gross and weird and just not right. And old people like us, older people like us, people like me in my 50s, some of y'all may not be old, will be like, yeah, I just want to go back to the olden days and I'll just stay on YouTube or wherever to get my old media. Maybe I'll just watch old DVDs I have and I'll watch them or something like that. I don't need to be caught up with the new stuff and how it looks and the weird ass AI creations. Fuck all that. They may be a memory someday, but those memories hopefully will be cherished and still here for us to see because of something like YouTube. I hope because I don't care about new media. I don't care about innovations with AI or graphics or anything, virtual reality, any of that kind of shit. Just give me regular reality and give me a good old 80s sitcom or something from way back that had soul and work into it and not lazy ass. We made this with AI script and we're making the computer do all the visuals and everything like that. Now, give me that real human touch. Yeah. I hope that doesn't become a memory someday. I hope we can hold on to that feeling. But who knows? Going into the new era, that stuff may not be there anymore all of a sudden for some reason or somehow. Who knows? We'll have to see, man. It's messed up. Blessings to the Jones family and all the Raptor Freak families. Trevor's saying the Raptors have a fourth quarter problem by not doing things the right way to win games. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying this right now. Brandon sabotaged our game last night. I'm going to squarely put the blame on Ingram because if you're the primary offensive player for us and you don't really give a shit about beating your former team, well, we're not going to beat them. If Brandon doesn't have the right energy to come at them offensively to carry us on points, he doesn't care. He didn't care about going against Durant head to head and trying to outscore him like Kobe Bryant. See the thing, Brandon, you like Kobe Bryant so much, you're fucking failing in your Mamba mentality. Like seriously, you should be like, that's Durant. That dude is like me. And they've made comparisons, but I don't want to be compared to Kevin Durant. I want to be better than Kevin Durant. I'm gonna go out on the court and beat his old ass. Where was that energy on Tuesday night? Brandon Ingram. Durant versus Ingram. That's a natural woo-wee battle, but you roll over. You're like, oh no, Durant's so good. He's making everything. Brandon's breaking everything. Where's that competitive fire? Where's that Mamba mentality? Where's that, you know what? They compared me to this guy for my whole career, but I want to prove that I'm better than him. There's none of that, Brandon. It's like, okay, collect your check, get the blowjob from Glorilla, and you're good. You don't give a shit about winning. You don't give a shit about that. Maybe it's all the years in New Orleans that taught you, winning's not everything. It doesn't matter. But this lifestyle's great, and this paycheck's great, and I can make everybody think I'm a gym rat, and I really do give a shit, and I have the ultimate Mamba mentality. But it's not coming true on the court and the results and your energy. You could say that, and you could tell me, Raptor Streak, you got this all wrong. You don't know me, bro. You don't know me, bro. Well, I can see what you're doing on the court, Brandon. I can see what you're doing on the court. And if you don't give a shit about Durant versus Ingram, you don't give a shit about coming back and beating your old team because you want to beat them because you're a competitor, well, then I don't think you have Mamba mentality. I don't think you give a shit about the right things in the NBA. You may not have DeRozan code. You spent, and that's the weird thing, is because you spent your life in the gym. You worked so much, you've hurt yourself because you worked so much in the gym. But you still don't have DeRozan code or Mamba mentality. Like, you don't give a shit about winning enough, but you give a shit about being a good offensive player. You give a shit about your skill. You give a shit about your player profile and how you can do your moves. But do you actually give a shit about winning games? Do you actually give a shit about beating other people? I don't think so at this point. And that's why I would say, if you ain't gonna be like that, we can't afford to have you in that spot. And this offseason, maybe, after getting Brandon Ingram back to an all-star level, Bobby Webster needs to listen to trades. And if anybody in the Raptors Nation wants to talk about trading people, lay off of Jakob, Manuel, and RJ. Go ahead and start talking about Ingram. Because seriously, I'm not going to take this guy and trust him if it's so obvious and he's so bad at covering up that we shouldn't trust him. Because we shouldn't trust him. Let's just put it that way. That's what the evidence is right now. Sure, he can win a game against Indiana early this season on a buzzer beater, and it's fantastic. I'll buy his jersey. I'll meet his dad. I appreciate that ticket, Mr. Ingram. You're an amazing guy. Thank you. But I'm worried about your son and whether he understands which team he plays on right now. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about he understanding which team is paying his checks right now. He's not getting paid by New Orleans anymore. So why the fuck is he helping New Orleans win games? I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. In some ways, this fourth quarter thing wasn't even the problem last night. It's that we had a sabotage from within. And it started right from the start of the game. The man wasn't hitting right from the start. He didn't hit in the first, the fourth, the whatever quarter. His stat line looks deceivingly okay, but honestly, he missed a lot of key shots in momentum times, and he had key turnovers in momentum times that absolutely killed the Raptors' energy. And we did go stagnant in the fourth quarter in different times where we couldn't score for like 3 minutes. And it's not like Brandon was trying his ass off to try and get those points to get us back into scoring again. No, he wasn't. He wasn't trying. So that's what I'll say right there. Yeah, Trevor's saying Ingram said he knows he knows been playing shitty basketball. He didn't say shitty. He said I'm terrible right now. He said I'm terrible right now. Those are his exact words. And once again, he said it with a smile. And in some ways, it's like, yeah, go ahead and tell me, right to my face, because I can read it all over your face that you didn't give a shit about beating your old team at all. That's not the right energy to be a competitor in the NBA. Brandon Ingram is what I'll say. That is not the right energy right there. Monique is here. Good morning, superfan Monique Lawrence. Good morning, Raptor Free crew. I'll just put it out there. Obviously, Raptors can do way better, but we ain't staying in the middle than credit IQ's fight level. We ain't staying, but we can do way better, but we ain't staying in the middle than credit IQ's fight level. Well, I appreciate IQ for standing for Jamal. He's the only one who really did, and then Herb Jones standing up for us as a Pelican. That's the crazy thing. In some ways, Herb Jones came over and pushed DeJounte and told him he was being a punk ass little bitch, his own teammate. And I appreciate Herb Jones for that. Those guys are classy guys. I really like Murphy and Jones. Those two guys are really good. They're really good. They bombed threes on us. They played better than Brandon Ingram. They look way better than you, Brandon, your buddies, and you should be proud of them. Oh, good job, Herb Jones. You've grown, and you're so good at this point. Trey Murphy, wow, you just can't not miss from three. I'm so proud of you guys as your older veteran friend and teammate. Wait, I'm not on your team anymore? But I love you guys. You guys are doing so good. I'm so proud of you guys. You guys have gotten better since I've seen you. I'm not your teammate anymore. No, you're not, Brandon. You're not their teammate anymore. It's like the man forgot which jersey he's wearing last night. Brandon Ingram. He's in New Orleans all of a sudden. He's like, some people were making jokes like, well, that's what Brandon does in New Orleans, lose games. He's just following a habit, a pattern of what he does. He's lost a lot of games in New Orleans over the years. Well, let's just go back to the regular old habit, lose some more games in New Orleans, Brandon, because that was like what you were used to for years when you were on the Pelicans. Yeah, it's annoying, man. It's annoying as fuck. Trevor's saying this. I hope this is a wake up call for the Raptors to get some toughness. Sometimes you just need to poke the bear to wake it up. I don't know how Scott feels today. Scotty, do you feel like fucking punked? Because you should, as extension. You should feel punked. Maybe you'll hear things in NBA circles on social media. You'll see things. Maybe you'll hear a friend say this, like, yo, Scotty, man, why are you so soft, bro? Why can't you stand up for your guy Jamal, man? What are you doing, Scott? Maybe you'll hear that from somebody like Nardo or Nick or, anybody in his circle, John French. John French will say, Scotty, man, I'm so disappointed in you as a brother, man. If that was me, wouldn't you stand up for me? If we were playing basketball, what are you doing? You should be standing up for Shed. What are you doing? Scotty's probably like, because we know how he is, taking back a suit after he wore it once just to get the money back. Man, I can't catch no fines. I'm not going to try and get no suspensions. I want my money, and I don't want to spend any money getting in trouble. So, no, I'm not going to do nothing. Well, what the fuck? Who's going to do it then? We don't have Charles Oakley right now. We don't have Serge Ibaka. Who's going to do it then, Scott? Who's going to do it? You're the leader. You're the franchise leader. You want to give a Charmin soft reputation for the Raptors organization around the league? Well, good job. You're working on it because that's what's looking right now. No, this cannot go like this. And I hope Trevor's right that this is a wake-up call, that you do understand the gravity of everything that happened last night, and you realize, you know what, fuck this bullshit. We're not doing this no more. And you bring an energy to the Phoenix Suns game on Friday night tomorrow, way better than the last two games that have been duds. You guys just want to roll over for the season. Y'all fought so hard this whole entire season, gone through so much, just to fucking crumble now. Like, what the fuck is this, Raptors? Seriously, you've been working hard on this. You can let down each other, let down Coach Darko, let down the Raptors freaks, let down the city of Toronto, let down the country of Canada, because y'all all of a sudden just, this season's long. It's tired, Lex. Chill, man. We're trying. No, you're not. You're not trying. And you're fucking around with the reputation of our franchise by being soft as Charmin. Truth hits, and it hurts, and I hate it. I don't want to be talking about this shit. But you guys don't want to do this, right? Well, you got to come out and show me something different before I'm going to change my opinion on this. Because honestly, I'm worried. Maybe, once again, we need more RJ as a leader and the focal point because he has it like that. He's no nonsense. He'll get in people's faces. It's a damn shame he wasn't on the court when that happened. Maybe DeJounte Murray doesn't do that if RJ's on the court, because RJ is respected like that. And he knows RJ will stand for his city and his team. That's the one thing I do know about RJ. And that's why I stand for him so hard on this channel, is I know he's not about getting punked like that. And if that shit had happened while he was on the court, he would have been right over there on DeJounte Murray, pushing him to the side and fucking getting right up in his face. That's who you build his franchise around. That's who you build a franchise around, because that man is willing to go through all kinds of shit for his team and standing for it. RJ Barrett. That's why you don't casually talk about trading him, because he's here for all the right reasons and he will stand up for us in all the different situations. There's no questioning whether Rowan Barrett Jr. is going to do something to stand up for Jamal Shed in that moment. I know he would, just like his friend Emmanuel tried to. But those other guys, I have to question it now, Scott. Look, I can see you getting DeAndre Ayton's face. I can see you get in different people's faces over the years. Where were you last night? That's what I'm saying. And in some ways, you may need to show this in another game, in another incident coming up, just to prove something to me and the other fans that you are willing to be bowdy about it in a pinch when you guys are getting punked. It's not I'm asking you to throw hands. I'm just saying you go stand in between. You go make it known that, yeah, this guy's got people who got his back because y'all didn't have Shed's back last night. And that's a huge problem. That's a huge fucking problem because I don't know what the brain priority list is in your brain. Oh, Shed, helping Shed out. That's not higher in my list than getting a technical or getting a fine. That's the wrong protocol. That's the wrong protocol for what should matter to you on the court, is what I'm saying, man. Yeah. Reggie's saying this. For the first time I saw defeat in the Raptors, they didn't care. Totally checked out. Yeah, that's why I'm pissed off in some ways. But once again, I'll say that emanates and comes from Ingram in this situation last night. In some ways, this is a special case of locale. It's totally the history of Brandon Ingram with the Pelicans manifesting in a love fest. And in the comparison is Siakam coming back to Toronto. There is a comparison there. I mean, there's been times when we played the Pacers since Siakam's gone there, and Siakam will miss some free throws. And I'm like, thank you, Pascal. Thank you. He'll miss some free throws against the Raptors. He'll miss some important shots. In some ways, he didn't look like he cared too much. Maybe Pacers fans were wondering the same damn thing I'm wondering this morning about Brandon Ingram, about Pascal Siakam at some point. He just loves that team too much. There's too much history. He's a champion twice with the Raptors. He's a most improved player. He's an all-star. He had everything, all of his dreams come true while he's in Raptors. He can't hate the Raptors. He can't come at them like that. And maybe he is a double agent. And in some ways, that's part of the reason why the Raptors' record against the Pacers is so good since Siakam switched jerseys. We can analyze this with the New York stuff. We haven't beaten them since OG went to the Knicks. And in some ways, OG's got this competitiveness, like, I don't want to ever lose to the Raptors. And he's holding that true so far. And but RJ and Emmanuel, if they could have that mentality against the Knicks, they would do that if we had the powers to be able to hold that kind of record over them. The competitiveness of RJ and Emmanuel, I don't doubt if they could have a perfect record against New York since they got traded, they would, but they don't. They have the inverse because in some ways, the NBA script writers want New York to dominate the Raptors, and OG is a symbol of it. And OG having a perfect record against the Raptors is like that. It's like not like OG's going to try and be nice to us because he loves the Raptors. He won a championship with us. No, OG has the right approach to this. That's my former team, and I need to beat their ass and kick their ass as much as I can. That's the right approach. So, Brandon, be more like OG Anunoby and less like Pascal Siakam. How about that? That's what I would say. You're going to get a chance to redeem yourself against the Pelicans when they come to Toronto later this month. Now, are you going to roll over and let them beat us on our home court? Or is this solely an environmental thing because you were in New Orleans and all the old familiar faces and the routines came out and the emotions came, just like Kyle Lowry coming back to Scotiabank Arena? Is that what this is going to be? Are you going to make it up to Raptors Nation and your teammates and beat their ass when they come to Toronto? Because if we get swept by the non-playoff Pelicans, I'm blaming you straight up for it. Just you, solely you, responsible. Brandon Ingram, you're responsible for losses to the Pelicans because you should know that team better than anybody on our team. You should have more competitive fire to beat them, just like Anunoby coming at us, but you don't. And in some ways, that tells a whole lot about things with you in some ways that I don't like. You know, are you one of these guys that just wants to live the lifestyle and just collect checks? Or are you here like Kobe? Are you here like Kobe was? Mamba mentality. I want to beat everybody's ass. Because right now, it don't look like you're a Mamba mentality. It looks like you're asleep and you're happy and you're smiling and you're just enjoying the love. But you don't give a shit about your teammate on the floor getting yelled at by a former teammate that you're going to pal around with and joke with after the game. No, that's some punk ass shit. That's what I say right there. Right there. Yeah, yeah. Maybe they partied some in New Orleans. No, they didn't have time to do that. It's not about partying. They had to go from Houston to New Orleans and they had a back-to-back. There's no time in between for them to do anything stupid. The one thing I will say is I did not agree with Darko playing the starters so long into the third quarter. You come back from halftime, he played them like until 5 minutes to go in the third, did not make a substitution. He rode the notorious barbecue yak from the start of third quarter to like 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. And that's a big no-no on a back-to-back. That's a coaching mistake. That's like a rookie coaching mistake, Darko. You got to sub those guys early and fast in the second half on the second night of a back to back on the road because they're going to get tired. And in some ways, we could blame Darko partly for the mess up because these guys were worn out because he overplayed them in a long stint in the third quarter. And he should have started breaking up the rotation and getting guys in and out. Honestly, if I'm a good coach and I'm aware of this, I don't give a shit about your shortened rotation and wanting to get extended run for the starters or thinking that they're doing so good because they look tired and you wore them out and they were dead for the rest of the game from that. You should be subbing guys in 2 minutes into the third quarter right away. You sub Scott out right away. Give him 2 minutes of full burst defensive intensity and sub him out in 2 minutes in and do the regular rotation you would do at the beginning of the game. But you got to sub earlier and faster because you'll burn guys out. It's like a physio thing. You play all out in the first half. You're on the second night of a back to back, so you're tired. And then you go into halftime, you get that rest and you come back out there and then you play them for so long in the third quarter, you're burning them out like a light bulb. And I noticed that in the game last night. That was part of the problem. You know, in some ways, maybe Brandon's missing shots partly because he's tired, because Darko didn't take the starters out soon enough in the third quarter. But no, more of it is that Brandon didn't give a shit about beating his former team. He didn't give a shit about beating them at all. Monique saying had bad games, bad slump. Bi wake up. Yeah, wake up for sure. Yeah, man. It's not like he's sleeping, slim sleeper. He's not asleep. He's not dreaming. He's just not doing things like he should. He's not dialed in. He's rattled. If he's been sick, well, I mean, I get him playing, but if he's sick, the coaches should know that and they should be pivoting away from giving him so many touches. If he's sick, if he's tired, if he has a nagging thumb injury, if he has any of these kind of issues, they should be pivoting away from him and giving more touches to other talented Raptors and not working him so hard. That's the biggest thing here. He doesn't have to demand the ball every game. If he wants to keep a streak of playing and he doesn't want to sit out because he's sick, then don't play him and use him as much, even though he's out there still. He can get his minutes, he can get his time, he can get his games played. He wants to get games played because he missed so many games from that injury last year. But it doesn't mean you have to make him the primary guy. Doesn't mean you have to keep force feeding him the ball, Raptors and Darko. You can understand on the down low, he's low energy, he's sick, he's not doing well. Why are you fucking forcing him the ball? Like, seriously. This is the kind of stuff that I'm like, what the fuck? Does this make sense? Does this make sense? You know what I'm saying? Reggie saying Murray did void of trade to the Raptors. I remember that. I don't give a shit about that. There was no trade to us, Reggie. Fuck that. That's a rumor. I don't know if that's true or not. Don't bring that Jake Fisher bullshit, convoluted crap up. Don't give him any power on this. Fuck him. He did not do that. I've never heard that before. That sounds like a rumor to me. I don't think we've ever wanted him. And for you bringing that up, man, like, why are you even bringing that up? I don't even think that's the real thing. I never heard this. If that's some sort of clutch points or Bleacher Report or athletic rumor by a Jake Fisher or a Chris Haynes or whoever the fuck all that. Fuck that. I'm going to delete your comment. I'm going to act like you didn't even say that because honestly, I don't remember this. And you're giving him more power, the fucking piece of shit. Like, that just makes things even worse if you want to say that. I don't believe this. I don't think we've ever wanted him on our team. And I don't need receipts, and I don't need you to come and bring me an article from Jake Fisher from like a year or two ago. I don't give a shit. This is the wrong kind of shit to bring up. Fuck DeJounte Murray. If he didn't want to come here, we dodged a bullet. If that's actually a true thing, I've never heard of this. And in some ways, you want to give power to that knucklehead, that piece of shit? Yeah, fuck that, Smooth. That's what I say right there. Yeah. Shaq saying, Lex, why are you so down? I keep telling you, Darko needs to adapt and change the system. Scotty is your number one, not BI. Your number one doesn't necessarily mean that he's your number one scorer when he was a Spur. Okay. Let's see. Okay, why are you so down? Because, man, we fell into the play, and I'm pissed off about that. I never wanted to go down there. If we got to fight our way out of it, this is going to be like a game where we have a lead, we lose a lead late, and then we have to fight back to get the lead back and get over them to win. And now we're in the play-in. and it's competitive. It's not just the Magic and the Heat are above us now. We're tussling with the Sixers, the Hawks, and the Hornets, and they're all right in there with us. And this isn't easy. This isn't easy at all. In some ways, we've got a very difficult schedule still ahead of us. So it's not like the games are going to get any easier coming up. And if they're going to fumble a game like this against the Pelicans, well, we're fucked. We're fucked. And in some ways, like I said, like somebody said in the chat earlier in a comment, it seems like these guys are waving the white flag and they don't give a shit about whether they win or not. And they're just rolling over, and they're going to just let the NBA roll them on down in the play-in. Who knows? They could do so bad. I doubt that they'll fall out of the play-in and be a non-playoff team all of a sudden. But that's embarrassing. In some ways, it's what a lot of people that hate the Raptors will want, and I don't want to give them that. I want them to be defiant and fucking fuck this shit up and change the narrative. And because this is a narrative the NBA wants to write, as though the Raptors were a fraud this whole time, and they're going to fall into the play-in. They weren't truly a playoff team. This is why I'm pissed. This right here, what I just said. Scotty is your number one. Oh, this is the thing. All right, we're going to change the monikers, Shaq Lindsay, because you're making things confusing. Scotty's a franchise player. Brandon is the number one. So those are the two different terms, okay? Scotty Barnes is the franchise player. Brandon Ingram is the number one option. And that's why number one means that, because number one is the next word is option. And that means the person you're feeding the ball to the most on the court is your number one option. So it's semantics. It's just vocabulary and words. But to make this discernment, Scotty's the franchise player. He's the center of everything built around it, but he's not the number one option. The number one option is Brandon. So just to make that set like there, yeah. Yeah, see, Scotty's not considered the number one to me because he's not the primary offensive player. He's the franchise player. He's the guy that everything's built around. That's what I would say right there. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Trevor's saying Ingram is not the team. Everyone else has to play better and make shots. I'm going to say bullshit on that, Trevor. I'm going to say bullshit on that. These guys can try their asses off and play hard. They could work really hard on getting the ball to Brandon in good ways. And he just doesn't give a shit. He's nonchalant. He dribbles the ball and loses it. He takes a shot and he's not really dialed in. It doesn't seem like he cares. There's were times yesterday where he could have ran out to guard Herb Jones at the 3-point line. He just stood there and let him shoot. He just watched them. He's like, oh, there's my rotation to run out and get at the guy. That's his assignment. What did he do? He stood there and watched his protege, his youngster, Herb Jones, bomb a three over his head. He just stood there and watched it. He's like, oh, the rotation's actually, you're supposed to run out at Herb, Brandon. You're supposed to run out at him and play defense. No, I'll just stand here next to the paint and let him out there in the 3-point land just shoot open, wide open. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm going to go ahead and let Herb Jones just shoot threes because I don't care. He's my friend. No, see, you just say it's the team. And, that's true to an extent. We win and lose as a team. But when your number one priority offensive player is sabotaging your team from within by not trying hard, by not dialing in, by not trying to have a winning attitude, well, you're getting beat by your own team and your own teammate. Shed's trying his ass off. RJ's trying his ass off. Jakob's trying his ass off. These guys are trying their ass off. But Brandon, in some ways, he's a secret agent to help his former team win. He loves seeing the delight because in some ways, you got to think about it. He has years and years of conditioning and training to try and please the crowd in that Smoothie King arena. That he's been, he likes the feeling of the people cheering in that arena. He likes the feeling of the smiles and the people being happy. So in some ways, maybe he's like, maybe he is a little sleepy. He's like, oh, am I on the Pelicans or I'm on the Raptors? Well, the people are cheering, and I love those people. So I'll go ahead and just be happy that they're cheering and happy because that's what I always wanted on years and years of being on the Pelicans. Maybe that's part of it. That it's just as an old habit to try and delight the Smoothie King crowd. And he's just doing it the other way, man. That's it right there. Yeah, that's it right there. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying all it means is that the ball is in his hands and he's the one that dictates the pace and ball distribution. Shed and IQ are not pure point guards. Another thing, Darko, stop abusing the Shed and IQ lineups. Teams has no heart. It's on the players to fix it. There's a lot in what you're saying, That's a lot in what you're saying here, Shaq Lindsay, and that was Smooth that said the team has no heart. It's on the players to fix it. Yeah, they need to show heart, and they need to show that they give a shit. They get paid millions of dollars to give a shit. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, Shed and IQ, man, don't. This is not open season to come and fire straight bullets at different people. These guys are point guards. They may not be completely pure point guards, but they are point guards and they can play point guard. And in fact, there were some things Shed did yesterday that actually impressed me, that made me happier with him, even though he was not totally successful in different ways too. There were things that he was doing that were good. He wasn't trying to do home run balls. There was a lot more intermediary passes going up the court, and it worked way better instead of going for the home run. Yeah, I don't know, man. In some ways, I'm not denigrating IQ and Shed today. Those two guys were two of the guys who showed heart last night out of most of them. Seriously. So I can't denigrate them. I can't do that. And I don't think he's abusing the quick Shed lineup. I think he's using it very well. And I like that he uses it all the time. I don't think that's a bad thing to do, is have IQ and Shed out there at the same time. I think that it's been very much successful in a positive formation for pretty much this whole entire year. Sure, are there going to be times where quick Shed backfires on us? Yeah, every once in a while that may happen. But the stretch run of quick Shed lineups have been overly winning and better in a lot of ways than being bad for us. So I can't get behind that. And saying that they abuse it, no, you're not abusing it. These guys are good playing off each other, and it's smart, and they should play that lineup quick Shed. They should play it. That's not why we lost. Fiercely saying this morning, fam, and happy Thursday. At this point in the season, we should aim to better ourselves against top teams. So now we're also struggling against teams below 500. Well, I think this is a special case, and that's why I'm blaming Brandon so mostly for this, because he is the one who's tied in the middle of all this, and he is the one who's the center of our offense, and he has a lot more power over all of this than we want to admit. Yeah, I mean, I know it, I see it, and that's why I'm squarely blaming Brandon, is because he has a lot of power in all of what happened last night, because he is the central primary scorer for the Raptors right now. And it's obvious he has a horrible poker face that he can't hide exactly what was going on with him last night. That's part of the problem here. I'm so disappointed. I can read right through everything and see exactly for what it is. And I'm disappointed in him. Smooth saying it's not an overreaction to one game. Other NBA teams are watching Toronto and see how they react. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't like this. In some ways, like I said, DeJounte Murray's more encouraged to act in that way because, maybe he saw the Josh Hart finger guns. And that's why you got to stop this shit. That's why you got to be like, nah, you can't punk us like this because, other people will try and punk you later. And that's why this kind of stuff needs to be taken care of. People say this is a mentality that's stupid. There's no place in sports with this, man. Have you ever played organized sports? Do you even fucking know what you're talking about? No, my child's a good, perfect child. They would never do this in a game. Well, you're not fucking playing high level competitive sports. That's for damn sure. Because seriously, there's something about honor and not punking people. And, good sportsmanship should matter, but there's a lot of idiots that are immature in the NBA making millions of dollars that are absolutely horrible sportsmanship. John Morant, he's a good example. And DeJounte Murray is another good example of just a piss poor sportsmanship, a very bad influence for children. And just, people can say, no, that's a competitive fire. He really cares. Whatever spin bullshit you want to make from the New Orleans side of things, you go ahead. But you're kidding yourself. Seriously, you're kidding yourself. Yeah. Shaq Lindsay saying opposing teams will have to adapt and attack our weaknesses. Our guards keep feeding BI in the post without shifting the defense or even trying to break down coverages to get players open. This is a lazy offense. Darko, change your system. All right, I'm not willing to get underneath the hood too deep on this one. I think this is pretty cut and dry what happened. We don't need to nitpick and tinker with things too much. The first thing the Raptors need to do is to get their honor back. And that means win a game. And that means go out and show people that they can't be pushed around. That's the first thing we need to work on. I don't give a shit about the offensive tinkering or any of that kind of stuff, nitpicking about play sets or this or that. If they could go away from Brandon, I'll agree with this, Shaq Lindsay.
But I think that the most important thing the Raptors need to do is look themselves in the mirror and figure out who the fuck they are after last night. That's what they need to do. They need a wake-up call, like Trevor said, and they need to look at themselves in the mirror and decide who the fuck they want to be. Do they want to be punk-ass bitches that get punked? Or do they want to be an NBA team that has pride and will fight their damnedest to try and get the next Larry O'Brien? Because that's the difference. In some ways, when you don't show a fight in the fight, you show that you're not prepared to try and go for the ultimate quest of the Larry O'Brien trophy. Because if you can't take regular season soft shit against a non-playoff team like this, well, what the fuck are you going to do in the finals or the conference finals or the playoffs in themselves? Soft as Charmin, well, you get bounced real fast. You get bounced real fast. Yeah. Let's see. Fiercely saying BI, IQ, and RJ in double digits. The others also had to produce. We were much deeper earlier in the season. This has been a huge problem in the recent games is nobody's scoring. There's like 3 guys doing scoring, and that's it. My number one star of the game last night is Emmanuel Quickly. He's the guy who I had the most respect for in the game last night. He's the only one who stood up for Jamal, and he was trying to run things for the team in a positive way. He did have a horrible plus minus, but in some ways, I'm giving him the best star anyway. 34 minutes for Emmanuel, 25 points on 8 of 14 shooting, 3 of 7 from 3. He made all 6 of his free throws, 6 rebounds for our point guard, 3 assists, 1 turnover, 2 steals, a minus 27. He had the most respectable stat line to me as far as his shooting percentage, his amount of points, the fact that he got 6 rebounds, the fact that he made all 6 of his free throws. Emmanuel, you're my number one star. You're my number one star. Now, I could have made Brandon one of the stars, but I feel like he turncoated and sabotaged this. So I'm not making him one of the stars. And I'm not going to honorable mention him either, even though he got 22 points and he shot 8 of 19. He still didn't shoot over 50%. And a lot of those misses were really bad time for misses. He also had 4 turnovers on the down low, too. And he was a minus 25. So, he could have 4 steals, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists, but he had 4 turnovers and he shot 8 of 19 and he only got 22 points. And on the other side, DeJounte outscored him. Trey Murphy outscored him. And he should be beating his old teammates from the other side. He should be like, I want to beat you, Trey Murphy. I'm so happy you're so good, but I'm going to beat your ass. There was none of that energy, Brandon. None of that energy. My second star of the game is Pirtle. I want to give Pirtle some more credit for being in games. He showed up for this one. He was sick, and he took this game pretty good. He was out there doing some stuff. I mean, I wish I could say his stats were better, but they're you know what? I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel on the stars of the game right now because RJ and Scotty shot horrible last night, both of them. And Pirtle was 30 minutes, 8 points on 4 of 7 shooting, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks. I love the blocks. The blocks were fantastic. That's the best stuff right there. A minus 8. Yeah, this is tough when I'm giving a second star to Pirtle and he has 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks. That's an admirable stat line considering everything. My third star and final star of the game is Grady. I'm going to give Grady credit for once again building quality minutes where he's doing good things and playing very well in the little bit of time he has. So I'm going to give him some shine and give him the third star. 8 minutes for Grady, 7 points, 3 of 6 from the field. He made a 3 late, 1 of 3, 1 rebound, 1 turnover, 1 steal, a +8 for Grady Dick. Yeah, keep building. You're on your way back. And I appreciate it, man. And the confidence and the different things you're doing with a lot more confidence and better body language is showing Grady Dick. So keep building on this. You're going in the right direction. I'm rooting for you. And you know what? Who knows where you might be by the end of the April and going into the postseason. You could be somewhere very good by then. And I hope so. I really do. Scotty, it was just tough, man. Scotty was off. Scotty only got 9 points, y'all. That's insane, man. Scotty only scored 9 points in a game against the Pelicans out there. I know he's muscling up with Zion Williamson and trying to do different things, but still, this is a fail, Scott. This is a bad game. You had some nice swishy shots, but how the hell did you miss 10 of your shots? I don't remember you missing so many shots. Like 4 for 14, 1 of 6 from 3. Maybe that's where the problem. All y'all taking so many threes. We took 44 3-point attempts. Why? Why? Why are y'all shooting so many threes? You're a shitty 3-point shooting team. You guys need the mid-range. You need to go to the basket and stop overshooting threes. If I never see another Sandro Mamu 3-point attempt again, I'll be happy in some ways. It's gotten to that point. You know, you guys are saying we're abusing the quick shed lineup. I say we're abusing Sandro from 3. That man's shooting way too many 3-point attempts. He may have been in it last year in the early part of the season, but this part of the season, he has not got it. He's shooting the 3-point attempts that Grady and Jamison should be getting. Why the fuck are they giving him the ball? Sandro, that ball should be going to Battle. Battle should be shooting those threes. Like, redirect the water, Darko and the coaches, and say, y'all need to find Battle more. It's just Mamu keeps getting threes. And I'm like, why the fuck is Mamu shooting so many threes? Like, seriously. Scotty, only 9 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, 3 steals, and a block, a -3. Yeah, what is this, Scott? You're an all-star. What the fuck is this, man? RJ, I don't know why RJ didn't get to play late. And in some ways, I wish RJ had been in there in the fourth quarter instead of Brandon. In fact, I was saying to myself, if you have a choice, it's bench Brandon in the fourth and play RJ Barrett because I trust him. And I don't trust Brandon Ingram. I don't trust Brandon Ingram at this point. Yesterday has proven to me last night that we can't trust Brandon Ingram, whether it's not just because against the Pelicans and sabotaging us, but that, you know, you can't trust him at the end of the game to come through and carry you to wins. That's the biggest problem with our fourth quarter strategy and our collapses is that we're relying on Brandon Ingram to carry us home, and he's not effective at doing that. So it's like, you know, RJ Barrett, 28 minutes, 16 points, 5 of 13, not the best shooting. He was 1 of 6 from 3, just like Scott. He's 5 of 8 at the free throw line. Is it mandatory, RJ, that you have to try and miss one of the 2 free throws? Is that like in your contract? I don't know. 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, and a steal, a -9 for number 9. Yeah, I mean, I in some ways, I'm not mad at RJ. He had like double digits. He didn't shoot well. And why didn't he play at the end of the game? That's what I'm asking there. We'll go over the bench guys real quick. Sandro, you know, he's getting a lot of opportunities, getting a lot of minutes. In some ways, stop shooting so many threes. Fake the 3 and drive. You're much better going to the basket than hitting threes right now. 8 points for him in 21 minutes, 2 of 6 from the field. All of his shots were 3-point attempts. Every single shot Sandro took last night was a 3-point attempt. And I was so sick of seeing him try and take threes. I was so sick of it. 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 5 rebounds. At least he made his free throws last night. 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 block, a -12 for Sandro. We saw Trace for a second, and he was really good. It's like, why don't you play Trace more, Darko? In some ways, that game last night, he's a Western Conference player on the Warriors before. He's played the Pelicans a bit. Why didn't you play him against Moore? Because he got 4 rebounds in 3 minutes. He had 2 assists. He was a +2. He did miss all 3 of his shots inside. But still, why didn't you play Trace more? That rebounding per minute stat was really good. Why don't you play Trace more? I'm starting to get with those people. Like, why aren't you playing TJD? Play TJD. You're going to say it's conditioning? Is it pecking order? He's got to wait in the turn in his line, whatever it is, fucking play TJD. Whatever it is. Battle, 10 minutes, 3 points off of 1 shot. He only took 1 shot. And maybe one of those 6 shots or more of the 6 shots that Sandro took should have been Jamison's shot instead. He was a +12, the best on the team. If he had done more, I would have made him a star. So we'll make an honorable mention to Jamison Battle, a guy who's a great 3-point shooting that we're not utilizing. It's like we're such a bad 3-point shooting team, but we can't cultivate good 3-point open shots for our best 2 shooters, Battle and Dick. What the fuck? Darko, figure this shit out. Get Battle and Dick better shots and get them started and going. It's almost like y'all aren't even using the guys who are supposed to make the threes for us. So start fucking using them. Seriously. Shed, man, I got to give you so much props. I'm giving an honorable mention to Shed just for that bullshit and keeping his head. He could have easily got pissed off and come at him. He didn't back down, though, either. He talked shit to him, and they circled back and they talked some more. 20 minutes, 9 points on 3 of 7 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3, made his free throw. I'm very happy. That was the technical free throw for DeJounte Murray and his bullshit. I will give credit to Barnecki and them for putting a technical on him, but still, the refs did some manipulative shit last night, and we'll talk about it in a second. 1 rebound, 3 assists, 0 turnovers, a +7 for Shed. Walter, Ofer again. He's had a couple goose egg games where he doesn't make nothing. He took 3 threes, missed all 3 of them. 11 minutes, 0 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal, a -6. In some ways, we could say, along with Shed, Walter's now slumping also. He's now slumping all of a sudden. He was very good just a week or so ago. Now he's kind of in a doldrum all of a sudden. Elijah Martin got out there and got some points quick. He hit his only 3-point shot, which was nice to see. It was 1 for 2 at the free throw line, 4 points in 1 minute with 1 steal, a +6 for Elijah. Yeah, Jonathan didn't get in to play last night. On the other side, I want to give a lot of credit to Trey Murphy. Man, that guy was money from 3, 5 of 8, 8 of 12 with 28 points, 7 rebounds. Fuck DeJounte Murray. I don't even want to talk about that piece of shit. And Herb Jones, man, those guys are good, man. Between Herb and Trey, they were 9 of 14 from 3. Yeah, I wish we had shooting like that on our team. You know, it occurred to me last night, I would trade Brandon back to New Orleans for one of those 2 guys right now. Possibly. Seriously. That's how down I am on the Ingram stock right now. It's like, can we trade Trey Murphy and get Trey Murphy instead of Brandon right now? Like, seriously, would you guys want Ingram back in New Orleans since you guys love him so much and he loves you guys so much? But can we have Trey Murphy the third? Seriously, man. Seriously, it's messed up. All right, team stats real quick. We'll go over it, and then I'll do the ref manipulation report. We shot horrible, 41%. They shot 51%. Yeah, we took 44 threes. They only took 29, but we both teams made 14 threes. So what the fuck, man? Why do we have to take so many threes, Darko? I'm sick of this shit. That's not what we're good at. So why do we keep banging our head in the wall when we're not good at something? We actually did okay on the rebounds. They didn't kill us on the rebounds like the Rockets did. It was 49 to 43. We did still get out rebounded. The free throws were pretty even, very even actually. So I won't make light of how many we got or how many we made. Assist to turnover ratio was pathetic. The Raptors only managed 20 assists last night. They're not connected. That's symbolic of just going to Brandon for ISO over and over again and not doing enough off of each other. 20 assists with 11 turnovers. So it's 2-1 basically, but on a low level. You know, 11 turnovers is okay, but 20 assists don't cut it. They had 27 assists and they had 16 turnovers. Yeah, points in the paint. They outscored us +4. We did get a lot of fast break points yesterday, which was nice. The tempo of the game was up tempo for a while there. It was really, really nice. Now, the refs were stupid in certain points. They were lazy, and they were pissing me off. And Scotty, too. Scotty was getting pissed at them. He was more pissed off at the refs than he was pissed off at DeJounte Murray for being a punk. Yeah, he got in Tyler Ricks and Jason Goldenberg's face, kind of, Scotty. Because you know what was happening? And this is my gripe with the refs last night. There were a couple plays where it went out of bounds and it wasn't totally clear who hit the ball out. Now, instead of going to look at it, because the possession matters, and in some ways, it was our ball, honestly. And Scotty yelled at them, saying that was off them. But Taylor Ricks, who's bad at his job, obviously, as a junior ref, is lazy. He said, well, I can't tell clearly who it went off of. So instead, I'm just going to call a jump ball. You know what that shit is? That's youth basketball refereeing, motherfucker. Seriously, you're going to be that lazy. We got that Hawkeye that can check where the ball is positioned in the globe by satellites to figure out goaltending. You guys can't take the time to fucking walk over to the booth and look at the possession to see who it actually went off of and call it clearly and say possession is for the Raptors because it went off the Pelicans' hands. But no, because it's clouded in mystery. The ball will just be a jump ball, and that is what we'll do instead. Why would you do that? You know, the jump ball takes just as long to set up and do as walking over to the replay center booth and looking at it and then figuring it out and saying, oh, it is Raptors possession. That's lazy ass reffing. Tyler Ricks, you should be reffing high school games because that's what they do there. Oh, I can't tell which one it went off of, so we're just going to call a jump ball. And you know what? If you'd done this once in the game, I'd be like, wow, that's a really low level referee move. You did it twice. You did that shit twice. And that told me that the referees were lazy as fuck and not good at their job because they're not paying attention to see who the ball went out of. And instead of trying to figure it out, instead of utilizing all the great technology that the NBA has with global positioning satellites and fucking telling us where the ball is to a grain of a rice, fucking for a goaltend, but they can't tell us who fucking hit the ball out. Like, what is this junior ass high school reffing Tyler Ricks? Seriously. She's like, I don't know who the ball went out on, Scott. Scott ain't telling you. It went out on the Pelicans. It should be Raptors ball. But you're going to fucking give them a jump ball to try and get the ball. That's messed up. There was a point where Brandon Ingram shot a 3 and he got fouled and it was a side out. What the fuck was that? That should have been 3 free throws. And it was at a very crucial point in the game where we had the lead under 10 for the Pelicans. And we could have ate the lead up to being down 5. If Brandon Ingram had gotten his designated 3 free throws, he should have gotten because he was shooting a 3 and he got fouled at the 3-point line. But inexplicably, the referee's like, no, it's side out. Does that make any fucking sense? They're giving all kinds of other teams 3.3 free throws, and they're not even close to their shooting motion. And they're saying, oh, that's a shooting motion. 3 free throws for Josh Hart of the Knicks. But if it's Brandon Ingram on the Raptors and he's literally got the ball and he shoots it and it goes towards the basket. But no, that's not a foul on the shot. That's a side out. It's almost like I've noticed that some of the refs are calling fouls before things that they know are going to be a probable basket for the Raptors. There was one play where we got the ball to Scott and he was on the low post and he was about to eat a smaller defender on the Pelicans. So what does Goldenberg and Barnacky and Ricks do? They call a foul on the entry pass to negate the possibility of Scott eating there for lunch and getting us a score. So instead, they take away a possible for sure basket statistically and say, no, the foul was on the pass in and it's side out. And you guys can't have the ball in your very dominant low post scorer's hands where he's just about to score a basket. No, we'll negate that work that you did to get him to that position, to get a very easy shot. And we'll say, no, it's a foul. They fouled Shed when he was passing it to Scott. So now it's a side out. And they take away a money basket that Scotty was just about to score on a smaller defender. This is the insidious rep manipulation kind of shit that I'm seeing in games right now. That they're preemptively calling fouls now ahead of for sure scores for the Raptors to get them have to side out the ball again. So watch for this new wrinkle that I've realized in recent games, that the referees are calling fouls ahead of the really good bread and butter positioning that we get to negate us getting to that position in a probable basket and saying, no, you got to side out. And it's not even a free throw because we're calling the foul on the play of the pass or the dribble before it gets to the person who's going to try and score. That's a total ref manipulation. And that shit was being done last night in our game. You can go back and look at the footage and you'll see a play where Scotty was set up. I bet you it was Murray on his back and he was going to eat him for lunch. And Shed tried to get the pass to him. There's a whistle, but the foul's not on the positioning for Scott or anything near there. The foul's on the pass that Shed passed, but they don't call those fouls hardly ever. Why are you going to call it now? Because you understand the Raptors are set up to get a probable basket in the situation that's happening. That's what the refs are thinking about. That's what they're doing. So, yeah, there you go. There's like 3 ref manipulations right there. The weird-ass lazy jump balls because they don't want to determine who the ball went out of bounds on. The 3-point shot that Brandon shot, but inexplicably he doesn't go to the line to take 3 free throws because it's an 8-point game and it's just about to be halftime and maybe some parlays need to be fixed or right with the point spread. That may be what it is, the calculations of Barnecki and all that bullshit. It's like, seriously, Brandon should have had free throws at the end of the first half. And Scotty, well, he should have had lunch by scoring on a smaller defender. But no, they're going to call a foul, a preemptive foul before a good score for the Raptors and side out it. So they have to restart and try and get in their offense all over again. That's really part of the way that they can fuck with us, especially since we're not very good on offense, not good at shooting free pointers. And if we do get good things in our offense, well, they can call a non-shooting foul and they can start us all over again. Does that make sense what I just said? Because that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And I can see it. I can see it. It's right in front of us. You can go watch the game. You can go look back and you will see exactly what I was talking about too. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Fiercely saying BI, IQ, and RJ in double digits. Yeah. Oh, I already read that one. Let's see. Smooth saying Sandro's hurting his free agent status right now. I don't know. I think he's been such a big hit, and the hype machine from earlier this season, and him being on all kinds of articles saying he's on the best deal. He's one of the best contracts in the league. That's what people remember. They may not even see this all stuff, and that may not be. I think he's gonna be fine. I think he's gonna be fine. In some ways, you may be right. If he really screws up by the end of the season more and more, you may be right. You may be right, but it's not noticeable right now. And I think all the good publicity about him this season is overshadowing anything with the slump now. So I don't see it. Shaq Lindsay saying, "Oh yeah, I already read that." Monique, you're gonna get a dunk for this. She's saying, "Fuck Dejounte Murray," and I'm with her on that. Who the fuck are you? Screw him. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Monique. I'm gonna give you a dunk because that's something that somebody needed to say, and it means a lot more even from the super fan. That's right. Yeah, you're going to Morris Peterson 24, Monique, for that one. Very, very well deserved. Seriously. Yeah, seriously. Let's see. All right, where did it go? It jumped ahead. All right, no more comments, guys, because I do want to get done in the next 20 minutes. Let's see. Maybe too much weed, man. Talking about BI. Fiercely saying, I won't put it on BI. The whole team has a weird fixation on shooting threes. We're not hitting them. It's not the team has a fixation. The coaches are directing them. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. We're not hitting them yet. Keep trying. But I will admit, Brandon and Sky's performances have been different post All-Star. You know, Sky's actually been strong in different ways. Both of them had good games after All-Star. It's not totally true, but some of it is true. Their energy is different. Scott's energy has been different since LA. Yeah, there's something different about Scott, and I'm not thinking it's totally good. You know, I always worry about these big NBA events and sending Raptors to them, and who fuck will talk to them, whether it's a legend, whether it's an NBA staff from the head office, whether it's people from other teams around the league, whether it's other all stars he's on the team with, and they say something to Scotty, and in some ways, this is the kind of shit that drew Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade and LeBron James together in Miami. Is people getting together and kind of planning shit for the future in ways that aren't good. And there's a little bit of an energy around Scott, and I'm not going to question his dedication to the Toronto Raptors. But do you still feel the same way about playing for the Raptors as you did before the All-Star break today, Scotty Barnes? That's what I have to ask you. Was there some collusion? Was there some weird person who came up to you at All-Star and said something to you? And now you're in your head and you're not totally understanding what to do because in some ways you may think about your long term in certain ways. I don't know. I don't want to speculate any of that being true because I don't know if it is or not. But Scotty is moving different. His energy is different since All-Star. And in some ways, it's a little bit of a step back from things in a certain way. And I don't like it. Brandon was really good after All-Star. He had a couple of 30-point games and he was kicking major butt. He's just really been slumping, I think, since he hurt his thumb and being a little sick right now. Yeah, that's what I look at right there. Shaq Lindsay saying, I blame Scotty and Darko for the Raptors' downfall because these guys are taking back seat to BI. What the fuck happened? Scotty, this is your franchise, man. Fuck Darko. Darko, you even said it yourself. So why? Yeah, maybe it's a wake-up call. Maybe they're still trying to do this. I don't know. They know better internally what's going on, and they'll know how to fix it. They have their next chance against Phoenix tomorrow to do a better job and get a win. I'm going to say this right now. If you guys don't beat Phoenix on Friday, we're fucked. You guys are going to go into a weird place. And in some ways, even though this season will be a success in a lot of ways, it'll also be a failure if you make it an arc that goes like this. It's like we go up and then it's not going to be good. It's not going to look good, and it'll feed a lot of perception and bullshit that people write about the Raptors. In some ways, that's the design of this that the NBA wants. Is they don't want us to be respected or a legitimate contender. And us being up high in the standings this year is annoying to the mainstream NBA. And that's why I'm defiant and I'm rebelling and I want our guys to say, fuck all that shit. Let's beat this and be defiant. But if they don't care enough, they won't do it because it's hard. They have to care enough to do it. They won't do it if they won't do it. Isaac's saying, good morning to Isaac, by the way. And guys, thanks for supporting the channel. I didn't think I'd have a lot of comments because this is a members only channel today. It's not everybody can comment. It's only people that are supporting the channel. I appreciate it. Colin Murray-Boyles is missed. I get he is only one player, but sometimes you need to hunker down and do the dirty work. In many ways, he's more important than Yak in a small ball league. But also, I love Yak. No, I won't even say that. I don't even know why you bring him into that. I don't know. Colin, is he that kind of physical guy that who would he stand up for Shed? How would he react in that situation on there? Could he be a growing enforcer, a budding enforcer? The Redditor of the day saying we need Oakley back. What if Murray-Boyles is on the way up and he could be that guy in some ways because he is a physical guy. Maybe he's too nice. Maybe he doesn't have it in him either. Maybe it's just a symptom of the younger generations that are playing the NBA now that there's not enough tough guys and everybody's too happy and easygoing because they've got too much money and it's just an easy lifestyle. You know, that's part of it is like some of the stuff from Oakley and Barkley and people like that when I was younger is because, you know, they were really tough guys and they actually gave a shit. And there's not a lot of tough guys in the league in some ways at this point. There's not a lot in some ways. A lot of these guys are soft. Very, very soft. Shaq saying, are they giving the keys to Brandon? They are right now, and I don't want to anymore. Fierce is saying, I don't hear chatter of Scotty for Defensive Player of the Year. He needs to crank it up. Respect to IQ for standing up for Shed. No, I hear the chatter, and I don't know why you don't hear it because it is out there. It's all over the place. I've seen it on Reddit and non-Raptor spaces. People in the NBA are saying Scotty is first team all defense, and he is getting that chatter. So I don't know why you haven't heard it. It's everywhere. And they're saying it on ESPN too. Either they're saying it there. People are saying my all defensive team is Rudy Gobert, Victor Wembanyama, OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, and this person. So he's getting named. There is the chatter. Maybe you're just not in the right places to hear it. Yeah, major respect for IQ. Major respect. Yeah, Mo's saying fourth quarter woes. Third hasn't been easy either. Well, that's what I was saying. The mistake I saw with Darko is he played his starters too deep into the third. And on a back-to-back, the second night of a back-to-back, you don't do that. You burn them out for the fourth quarter if you play them too heavy in the third. I thought this was a lesson you learned in the last couple of years, Darko, because you've done this before in other years. And I called you out for it then too. If you don't see this, this is a blind spot. And I hope that somebody on the Raptors team is listening to me and he can bring the message to him that you overplay your starters from the start of the third quarter into the third quarter. You need to sub them out sooner and save their energy a little bit. Because, man, you run them to the ground, man. And that's why they're too tired to execute in the fourth to a degree. Trevor's saying Leonard put up 45 points to win over the Timberwolves. Okay. Good for him. Shaq Lindsay saying Scotty is your best passer and defender on your team. Having the ball in Scotty's hands at the top will create mismatches. Plus, it will negate passes in the post, the BI, and allow Scotty to use. Yeah, I'm not really willing to get this nitpicky and detailed right now. In some ways, I want to make this a very basic stream reaction and get the fuck out. So in some ways, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna go deep on this right now, Shaq. But we'll do this on another day for sure. Yak more on the pick and roll. I'm all about that. Let's see. Superfan Mo saying everybody knows Darko is stubborn, Lex. I don't think he's stubborn. I don't think it's that. I don't want to label him with the Casey problem. It's not about that. It's that I want him to wake up and understand that they need to, since they have so many eyes on the court with such a big coaching staff, they need to be more reactionary and reading the game. And if I can sit at home and read, Brandon is not helping us, y'all don't need to be going to him so much. How the fuck can you trust him in this situation? You know, you could be inside it and say, no, I trust Brandon. I love Brandon. He's so good. Man, you can't see this situation. Like, are y'all dumb that he loves the Pelicans and in some ways he's throwing his game to help them win? And y'all are going to give him all the responsibility in the world, coaching staff of the Raptors, for this game? You're putting it in his hands? You can't trust him against the Pelicans. Can you not understand this, Pat Delaney? Can you not understand this, Jama and Coco Wade and Darko? Not a single one of y'all can understand this. Is like, oh, Darko. What is it, Pat? Darko, I don't know if we should be playing Brandon against his former team. I mean, it seems like he's a little bit of a dud right now. Listen, Brandon is our best shooter. We have to play him. But Darko, do you not understand what you're seeing right out here with what's going on with him against the Pelicans right now? That man's not trying. He's not got killer instinct to beat his whole team. That's obvious. I mean, somebody on the coaching staff should have realized this. Eric Curry, somebody. Darko, can I talk to you real quick? Can somebody say something about this? Seriously. Seriously, man. It's crazy, man. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying another fact is that if there is a run out for the opposing team, you want your best defender back then. Yeah. Yeah. And he has to hide back. And in some ways, Scotty not being the primary offensive guy, he's being the safety. He's being the guy who is getting back just in case on that. Yeah, that's totally true. Totally true. Let's see. Yeah, I like Monique saying screw DeJounte. Shaq Lindsay saying having Shed and IQ as your guards might help you in certain aspects of the game, but it will never work on a defensive break. I don't know. Either way, like I said, I want to do a very basic stream right now. Shaq Lindsay wants to really get under the engine. I don't have time. This game's going to start in 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes. So I'm going to be done in a second. Shaq Lindsay saying, Darko, listen, BI doesn't have to have the ball to be a threat. Your number one option is Scotty. Let Scotty dictate the pace and play. I don't even think it's got to be Scotty. I think it should be RJ. I think it should be RJ. Scotty can continue to be who he is right now. In some ways, we don't want to overuse him on offense like Brandon, because in some ways that could be detrimental to the continued growth of the levels that Scotty's going to. There's going to be a point in Scotty's career where he does decide to be the big dog and do a lot of the number one priority stuff that Brandon's doing right now. But he's not ready yet exactly. But hopefully it'll be soon. Hopefully it'll be soon. We'll see in the next few years. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying, don't get it twisted. Magic was the number one on the Lakers, not Kareem or Worthy. Magic made everyone better because he dictated the game. Once again, this is semantics. This is just difference in vocabulary. Magic Johnson was the franchise player that was the center of everything, but he was not the number one option on the team. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was often the number one scoring option, the person they'd give the ball to try and get the baskets. Magic was the facilitator. So we're just arguing about labels once again. We can argue about position labels. We can argue about this and this. It's not even worth it. It's just their words, right? So I would say, once again, my designation for things is there's a franchise player and there's a number one option. And on a lot of NBA teams, that's the same person, but not on the Raptors. The franchise player is Scotty, and the number one option is Brandon. And that's just the damn truth, because Scotty's designated the franchise player. He has been since he showed up. And then Brandon is obviously the number one option because of how many touches and how many shots he gets. It's that simple to figure out in that way. It's just we're splitting hairs on semantics on this one right here. Yeah, let's see. I heard the bench Brandon a lot too. I heard the bench Brandon a lot too, Lex. You wanted to bench him too? I wanted to bench him. I didn't trust him. And we have a deep enough team with talent that you don't need to totally rely on Brandon every night to score. No, you don't. Trevor's saying we still building with second-year players and one guy who's coming back from injury, but we're going to be fine. Sometimes in life you get knocked down so many times until you can't take it, and you learn and fight back. That's what I hope. Blackhawks checking in. A back-to-back and fan base churning. Adversity builds character. Yeah, I don't even want to know what social media spaces are like right now. Seriously, I don't even want to know. Seriously. All right, let's do an Instagram stories real quick. AJ Lawson saying it's already yours. All right, I like that. Let's see. Fred VanVleet's giving out shoes to people at some event, and he's also celebrating. DeMar DeRozan has moved past Tim Duncan on the NBA all-time scoring list to 18th. The 18th most points in NBA history is for our GOAT, DeMar DeRozan. And Fred VanVleet celebrating that. So, man, think about this, guys. DeMar DeRozan has more points in the NBA than Tim Duncan as of last night. That's a big, huge accomplishment. That's a huge accomplishment right there. Let's see. Instagram, other than that, it's pretty stupid. Otherwise, there's nothing much. So I just want to talk about that for a second. All right, let's do the classic card. Actually, I'm not at the end of the chat. Y'all stop putting comments in. I want to be done. Okay. Let's see. Isaac's got my comment cut off. Shaq Lindsay's saying you can change the attitude, but if the plan is still the same, then that's just insane. Well, that's where in some ways, Darko, I don't want you to be getting in trouble with people because you're not being flexible, because you're not adjusting, because you're not reading the room correctly and figuring it out. And in some ways, your over importance on Brandon is backfiring in the last couple weeks, and you need to pivot. And we've been saying this on this channel for about a week now, like this, and you still haven't done this. It's not like it's in the contract saying that Brandon Ingram has to be the go-to guy for the Raptors all the time. You can change this, and you should. You should do it right now, at least while Ingram is still slumping. You should definitely do it right now. He shows signs of coming back to it, then you go back to him. This is the way I look at it right there. Yeah. Neil's saying there's another level we have to get to. Until we get there, we will be in a lot of pain. Okay, don't say shit like that. Don't say shit like that. I don't like that. Let's see. Darko needs to have a defined strategy for when Jakob sits. Okay. And coach needs to stop over trusting players and instill more discipline. Trust is earned, not given. Yeah. I mean, I like the gist of kind of what you're saying there. Happy birthday to Coach James Wade. Okay. Keep it up. The great stream, Lex. I appreciate that, Mo. And there's Isaac put me on blast, and there's the cutoff. All right, let me do the classic card, and we'll get done because I have less than 10 minutes. The Raptors 905 will be starting, and that, whoa, wow, this is a fantastic card. In some ways, it's kind of stupid, but in some ways, it's cool. All right, first person to get the full name answer. Be quick, too. Can we see who it is? Last time we had a members-only classic card, we didn't get it. A DMP happened. It's pretty far back. I don't know if y'all can tell who that is in the card. Yeah. I don't know if y'all can tell who this is. Could I bring it closer? Full name answer. It's starting to get a little bit more obvious. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see who's daring enough. Let me see. Did somebody answer already? Nope. Nobody's answered. Yeah. Fiercey's got it. It's RJ. It is RJ on the New York Knicks. Yep. RJ Barrett is the classic card of the day on the New York Knicks. And Fiercey's going to get it. And in honor of RJ, I'm going to give you 90 points because of his number 9. Yeah, RJ Barrett, the classic card of the day. And it's him in a Knicks jersey. Blech. So I probably won't keep it. But if one of y'all likes it, maybe you can get it at the next Raptor Freak hangout. I'll have the cards with me. And you can have this Knicks RJ Barrett card. What's it say about RJ on the back? Born in Toronto, Barrett always enjoys going back and hooping it up. On the 22nd of January in 2023, he torched the Raptors for 30 points on 10 of 18 shooting, scoring 30 of 32 against them in Madison Square Garden as well. See, this is how much they hate us. You know, this is a card that came out before he came to the Raptors. They don't have to mention the Raptors on this card, but they're going to talk about how he's born here and how he likes to torch us. See, that's messed up. In some ways, that is symbolic of that's them showing that they have disdain for us, that they're going to talk about a hometown hero coming back and beating our ass on the card. Is this his rookie card? It looks like it is. Torch the Raptors. That's what it says on the back of the card. He was a Knick at that time. So it's like, whatever, man. All right, let me just finish up and get the fuck out of here. First of all, straight goods on Canadian goods. Raptors 905. Made in Saga. 11 o'clock. We're about to watch them on YouTube. I hope you all join me and Monique as we watch the Raptors 905 play the Westchester Knicks in just about 5 minutes. So, yeah, I'll be leaving here and going directly there. So if you want to hang out and talk there, maybe we can talk more about this stuff with the team last night. Maybe we just wipe our minds and just watch a new game, the Raptors versus Westchester Knicks. Raptors 905. Yeah. Yeah. See you in the stream, Fiercey. That's right. So the referees we get the pleasure of having Bill Kennedy as the crew chief for the 905 game today, which is a real treat, honestly. That high level of experience in a 905 game, it's going to be fantastic. And we hope Bill is healing fast from his leg injury, and this rehab game will get him back into NBA games as fast as possible. So we'll see Bill Kennedy as the crew chief, Castine Evans as the referee, and Jacob Budnick is the umpire. Raptors lost the Pelicans last night in a very disappointing, stupid game. And my 3 stars of the game were Emmanuel Quickley, Jakob Poeltl, and Grady Dick. And honestly, I'm blaming the game on Brandon Ingram. That's right. Yeah. Bill Kennedy is refereeing the 9:05 game in like 5 minutes. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody watching me today on this members only stream with the reaction to the stupid ass game last night. Fuck you, DeJounte Murray. You get my 2-finger salute. And tomorrow I'll have a preview of the Raptors versus the Suns here in Toronto, a game that's absolutely a must win. And this game last night was a must win. We should have actually probably beaten the Rockets too, and our fortunes would be completely different. Alas, we're in the play-in now as of last night because we fumbled. And in some ways, I don't want no turncoats. I don't want no more Beastie Boys sabotage on this team. And when we play the Pelicans later this month, Brandon Ingram, you better be moving different. I'll just say that. You better be moving different. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow, and I'll see you in the Raptors 905 chat just shortly. Let's go, Raptors. Stop getting punked. Do fucking something about it.